Okay, we are on page 2. We are going to talk about the interior angles of a polygon. Remember, the word interior means inside, so these are the angles that would be on the inside of a polygon. So a triangle has 3 sides. It also has 3 angles on the inside. A square, which I'm now looking at this should not say square, it should say quadrilateral. Please change that. Something with 4 sides is called a quadrilateral. Sometimes it's a square, but not always. Okay, so a quadrilateral has 4 angles and 4 sides. The pentagon has 5 angles and 5 sides. So the amount of sides is the same as the amount of angles. So the polygon interior angle theorem says that there's actually a pattern to what the interior angles will add up to. And we've already talked about how triangles always add up to 180. So it turns out that quadrilaterals always add up to 260. And pentagons always add up to 540. Okay, so once you know the pattern, you can figure out what, no matter what the shape is, as long as it's convex, you can figure out what the angles would add up to. So the formula that you're going to use is you take n to be the number of sides of your polygon, and then the sum of the angles, so I'm going to put the angle sum, will be equal to, you take the number of sides and subtract 2, and then you multiply it by 180. Okay, so it's pretty simple. This is a formula you are going to have memorized. Okay? So the sum of the angle measures in a polygon, what you need to do is figure out how many sides it has. So I'm going to just put a dot on each side so I can count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this has 10 sides. So I'm going to put the number of sides is 10. And you should kind of get in the habit of kind of thinking it has 10 sides. What's a polygon with 10 sides called? It's a decagon. So I'm going to use this formula with 10 is for my n. So we have 10 minus 2 times 180 is 8 times 180. I have my trusty calculator to tell me that 8 times 180 is 1,440. So if I add up all those angles, they will add up to 1,440. Okay, so we could go the other way, and I could tell you I know the sum is 1,800 and figure out what kind of polygon we're looking at. You could do this with guess and check. I know that 1,800 is bigger than this, so it's got to be an answer bigger than 10. So you can go ahead and put 11 into this formula and see what you get, and then put 12 in, 13, 14, and see when you get 1,800. The other way to do it is to write an equation. So you would put the formula that we just learned is n minus 2 times 180, and we want to know when does it equal 1,800. Okay, so to solve this, I would distribute the 180 first. So we get 180n minus 2 times 180 is 360. And then I would add 360. Get 180n equals that's 2,160. And then you would divide by 180 and get that n equals 12. So whether you did this with guess and check, just plugging numbers into the formula, or solving an equation, either way is fine. So now it says classify the polygon by the number of sides. So if it's 12-sided, I'm asking what the name of that is. That is a dodecagon. Okay. So what's on the next page? So on the next page, we have examples where we need to figure out what x equals. So in order to do this, I need to figure out what all the angles should add up to. So there are 1, 2, or you can just count the angles. There's 3 angles, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 angles, so there's 6 sides. So I know my n is 6. And then you might want to just get in the habit. 6-sided is called a hexagon. Okay. So putting 6 into the formula, we'll have 6 minus 2 times 180, which will be 4 times 180. 4 times 180 is 720. Okay. So let's see here. If I know that all these should add up to 720, we're trying to figure out x. So I could write a really long equation and put x plus 118 plus 111 plus 124 plus 115 plus 145. So that's going to take up a lot of space. So I know that I'm going to have to combine all these. So I'm just going to use my calculator and put 118 plus 111 plus 124 plus 115 plus 145. I'm going to make sure I got that right. Yep. So that is 613. So we've got x plus 613 would be all the angles on the inside of our hexagon, and it needs to add up to be 720. So you would just subtract 613 from both sides and get x is 107. So that is your answer. Okay, we're going to do example 4 and 5 for this video. So this is asking, is the polygon regular? And explain your reasoning. So looking at this, I know that the definition of regular is that the angles and the sides have to be the same. So just looking at this, the angles definitely aren't the same. We don't know anything about the sides, but it doesn't matter because the angles aren't the same. So I'm going to put no because the angles are not the same. Okay, so now we need to find the measures of the missing angles. So B, D, E, and G, you'll notice they all have one arc in them. And by this time, I'm hoping you know that if it has the same marking on the angle, same amount of arcs, that means that those angles are the same. So I'm going to just go ahead and mark that all these are the same. I'm going to call them all X. Okay. Now there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 angles. So I know there's 7 sides. So our n is 7. The 7-sided polygon is called a heptagon or septagon. And plugging that into our information, we'd have 7 minus 2 times 180 is 5 times 180, which is 900. Okay, so solving this equation, we would combine like terms. So there's 4 x's, so we'd have 4x. And then we need to add up these 3 angles, so 100, 200, 300, plus 60 plus 40 would be 400. And that has to equal my angle sum, so it has to equal 900. So then I would subtract 400. And then I've got 4x equals 500. Want to come say hi? My son just walked in. Say hi, Jack.
Hi.
Okay, so then we divide by 4. We get x is 125. So that is your answer. That's the measure of angle BDE, and G, 125 degrees. Okay, last one we're going to do for now. So this is saying, what's the measure of each angle if you have a regular nonagon? So remember, all the angles are the same. So remember, angle means all angles are congruent. Means all the sides are congruent too, but since we're talking about the angles right now, that's what we want to focus on. So a nonagon means that we have an n of 9. It has to have 9 sides. The first thing you're going to do is figure out what all those 9 angles would add up to. So we would have 9 minus 2 times 180. We get 7 times 180, and that is 1,260. So we have all these 9 angles that have to add up to 1,260. If you want to write that as a equation, you would write 9x equals 1,260. And dividing by 9, you'd get that each of the angles would be 140 degrees. Okay, try the homework on your own right now to practice some of this on your own.